Hey everyone, so I am back again. I'm going to be doing my June to be read TBR pile. I know it's a little late. It is the 7th already. And I'm sorry it's late. This is my first to be read pile, so I didn't really go nuts. I only have 4 books this month. Well, I did have 5, but I already finished one. Um, I finished Cut by Patricia McCormick, I believe yesterday. I read it in 2 days. This was the second time that I've read it. I did put a review on Goodreads. If you guys would like to see a review on here, I will gladly do so. Just leave a comment below, and I definitely will. Um, but I already finished that, and then the rest of the books I have, one book that I'm currently reading right now is actually one of my books, and then the other 3 books that I'm going to be reading this month are books that I won off of Goodreads, and one is an ARC, so I need to read those this month and get a review up so on Goodreads and on here. Um, so I only have 4 books in my to be read pile for right now. Like I said, I did have 5, but I already finished one. Um, I only have 4 in my pile because I never know when I'm going to be able to read. I don't know if I'm going to be able to read a lot, a little, what I'm doing, whatever. So I only put 4 in the pile. And I'll tell you a couple of extras if I don't have them with me, but I can tell you a couple of extras if I finish these and I have time to read them. Currently, I am reading Dark Places by Gilligan Flynn. This is one of my own books. I've owned this for years. I don't even remember where I got this. It doesn't have a mark, so I guess I actually bought it. Um, but this is such a good book. It's about this girl. Her name is Libby Day. Her mother and sister were murdered when she was 7 years old. And her whole entire life, for 24 years, she has thought that her brother has done it. Um, Her brother Ben. This takes place in Kansas. And this secret society called the Kill Club gets in contact with her, and it's basically about her trying to find out what really happened to her mother and sister. Um, and I'm thinking that it's not the brother, because the last sentence on the back says that she's on the run from a killer. So I'm not quite sure. It is really good so far. The writing is kind of small, and it has, let's see, it has 345 pages. The cover is weird. It has a weird feeling. It's not like a regular book feeling. It's like a pleather feeling, and then the words and this is raised up. But it looks like a really good book. This is her second book. Her debut novel was Sharp Objects, which I'm looking to try to find that to read that also. But it is a really, really good book so far, at least. Like I said, I'm only on page 4. But I will be reading this and putting a review up of this very soon. The first book that I got from Goodreads, my first ever prize that I've ever won, so I'm super excited about it, is, and the next 2 I have shown you guys before. This one is Good Graces by Leslie Kagan. I think that's how you say her name. Is this her? No, this is not her debut novel. She's done 3 other novels, I believe. But it looks really, really good. I think this is a second book because it talks about Whistling in the Dark, which I believe is the first book. I'm not quite sure if I have to read that one before I read this, but I'm going to try to read this and put a review up. The writing is pretty normal, and this book has... Oh, it also has a reader's guide in the back, which is always good. I like when authors add that. Let's see. 387 pages. So I'm going to be reading this one. Oh, and sorry. This is about a girl that I'll just read the back. Okay, it says Whistling in the Dark captivated readers with the story of a 10-year-old Sally O'Malley and her sister True during Milwaukee's summer of 1959. Now it's a year later, and Sally, who made a deathbed promise to her daddy to keep True safe, is having a hard time honoring her vow. Her sister is growing increasingly rebellious amid the string of home burglaries, the escape from a reform school of a nemesis, and the mystery disappearance of an orphan. Events that have the entire neighborhood on edge. And in that tense hot summer, Sally will have to ground her flights of imagination and barter her waning innocence in order to sort the truths from the lies to protect her sister and herself. So that looks really good. The next book I'm going to be reading is, of course, another one that I won from Goodreads, and it's called Alice Bliss by Laura Harrington. It's a very cute little book. Like, if you compare it to this one, which is like a normal size, it's very, like, small and cute. So I'm probably going to be reading this quite soon. It's normal writing. And it has 306 pages. I like this book because of how flimsy it is. I don't know if you guys understand that or not, but I love books that are like that. This is about a girl that her father is deployed to Iraq, and she is at home saying that she's going to write every day, and that she's basically living her life with her dad in Iraq, and she has to take care of her mother and her sister and stuff like that, and just basically takes place during her life with her dad gone, and how she deals with that and stuff, which is really interesting. And I really like the cover. It's very countryish, and I'm from the country, so I really, really like that. So that's another book I'm going to read. And then the last book is my first ARC that I've ever gotten, which I'm really excited, and it's called No Alternative by William Dickerson. I don't know how great you can see that cover, but it's my first ARC, so I'm really, really excited. And they sent a little paper, so I'll read to you what the book's about. This is his debut novel, and it came out in April. It has 331 pages, and it's a coming-of-age drama set in the world of suburban American teens in the early 90s. The novel follows the main character, Thomas Harrison, who is determined to start his own alternative band, an obsession that blinds him to what's either the mental collapse or the eruption of musical genius of his sister Bridget. She boldly rejects her brother's music and the music of an entire generation of slackers by taking on a persona of an X-rated gangster rapper named Bree Da B. This year marks the 20th anniversary of the release of Nirvana's Nevermind nostalgia for the 90s that is a fever pitch. Through the lens of music scene of the early 90s, No Alternative is only shapes a vivid and touching portrait of two siblings that are strangers to each other despite their wish to connect, but explores socially significant themes. Suicide, depression, drug addiction, and teenage angst and alienation that are so prevalent at that time. Set just after the end of the Cold War, the fall of the communist Russia, and the end of an entirely Republican decade, the novel suggests that for many teenagers, white and black alike, music is the answer to collective apathy, lack of direction, and cultural void. So, looks really, really interesting. Like I said, it has 331 pages. The writing is relatively small. The only thing I don't like, which is probably because it's an ARC, it's not the finished book. It's very hard. It's not like this one, which is really flimsy. So I'm like, I can't really like bend the page. So it's gonna be kind of hard to read because I'm one of those people that like read like this, and it's kind of hard. But it looks really, really good, and so that is my next book, my last book that I'm going to be reading. If I get through all of these, I have a couple of books that I want to read. I always will read, sorry, that's my telephone. Anyway, I will always read a Jodi Picoult book. I have a whole bunch of books that I really want to read from her. Another one is Inside the Mind of BTK. If I read that, I will come on here and tell you guys about that one. And also, I want to get to a Sarah Dessen novel. I have never read one of her books. And they look really good, and it's going to be summer, and I'm out tanning a lot, so really good idea to read one of those. So that's my to be read pile. If you guys have any questions or anything about it, please put it down below. Oh, and if you want me to review Cut, I definitely will. Just put it below, and I'll get to that video as soon as I can, and I'll talk to you guys in my next video. Peace.